Hey, how's it going, you guys? I know it's been a little bit. There's multiple reasons for that. I actually got this action figure here a couple of days ago, but I got sick. So if you hear any like weirdness in my voice or if I cough, which I already feel like it's about to happen, that's hell of a coincidence. Damn. Um, I'm still recovering from that. So apologies, but here we go. Today, I am going to review for you the DC Mcfarlane Multiverse, or wow, that's really odd. Mcfarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman and Ace the Bat-Hound, aka Batman from the Silver Age. So here's the packaging. As you can see there on the back, got some nice classic artwork here, which is really cool. And then let me get him in a normal pose here. I've had a lot of fun posing him around. Okay, let's get the cape down here. Hopefully he'll be able to stand. I've posed him around a lot recently, so I don't know, if automatically he's gonna be able to stand straight up and down. Come on, cape. Let's get as good as I can. Or not. We'll see. Okay, I don't know if that's probably not the best way, and cape is still, oh, come on. Okay, there we are. So there he is. Before I get into the figure itself and my whole reasonings and everything like that, let's look at his accessories. So first we'll do with the basic. Still got the stand, but it doesn't have the new logo that DC's been using yet. Well, I say new logo. It's like a renewed version of, like, I think the 90s logo. And then he comes with this card. And on the back, it has a bio that says, real name, Bruce Wayne. The 1950s was a decade of change for the Dark Knight detective, one that introduced new friends and foes. These tales included the debuts of Ace the Bat-Hound, Deadshot, the original Batwoman, Kathy Kane, Mr. Zero, who would go on to greater fame as the nefarious Mr. Freeze, the original Red Hood, and the pesky interdimensional pixie known as Batmite. This was also an era of great inventiveness, with tales that revealed how Batman's own father, Thomas Wayne, was once a Batman himself, how Batman became a Superman, like here on the distant planet Zero-R, the secrets of Batman's utility belt, and the introduction of an all-new Batmobile. So there's the bio, and then we'll get into his other accessories. So he comes with, probably, at least for my collection, one of the first appropriate sized batarangs. And speaking of, he does have 2 gripping hands and 2 kind of grasping hands. You can almost see this as like petting Ace, but I think these would be a little too aggressive for that. But there you go. And speaking of Ace, I guess you can count him as an accessory. He's a pretty large accessory. So I'll do this next. And he looks pretty awesome. The reason why I say you can kind of count him as accessory, there's no articulation. That's like maybe my only complaint with this. I wouldn't want him to do much per se, other than just sit there and look cool. But even if the head were to move around in some shape or form, or the legs were at least had like knee joints or something like that, it'd be a little cooler. But at the end of the day, this will also look great. And he'll look great on my Bat Family shelf. And I'll get into the whole reason why I got this Batman as well. There's actually a little bit of a, I guess not super complex reason, but my own personal reasons for him. So there's Ace, and he looks great. I mean, they painted it well. I mean, it's a dog. I don't know what type of dog he is. Obviously, one of the bigger breeds, bigger breeds, but I don't know. You got a little collar there. Does it actually read anything? It does not. That would have been kind of cool. But it's got a little bat symbol, and then he's got a little mask. So nowadays, I don't think he wears the mask as much, but he's still around. He can stand, you know. So there you go. I guess that's like the important part. But yeah, he doesn't have any articulation, so you can't get him into like any crazy poses, like jumping or anything like that, which is maybe the only kind of downside. So, but let's look at this Silver Age Batman. Now, why did I get this version of Batman? Well, there's multiple reasons. Of course, one of the reasons is, of course, in general, if you're any level of a Batman fan, you'll always like other costumes of Batman. Which actually leads me into one of my main reasons of getting him is I don't really have a blue and gray Batman. I have one that's kind of a blue and gray, and then I have the first appearance Batman, which is probably one of my favorite DC figures of all time. And he's actually posed up right now, so I don't have him for comparison, so I do apologize for that. But the other reason was I was thinking about, well, I have a couple different Batman, and I always wondered like which would go with the Bat family, which would go with the Justice League. So gives me another option in that regard. But also at the end of the day, this gives me another Batman to just kind of mess around with. And I think it'd be really cool. Do I think he'll go in the Justice League or Bat family shelf? I'm not sure, because those two, well, there's not really shelves for them right now, but those two groups that I have are very modernish. So he doesn't necessarily fit that. But maybe I kind of want to play around with that, actually. But it might work with the Bat family, to be honest with you. Who knows? But yeah, at the end of the day, the other reason is I didn't have a blue and gray Batman, and there was that one that I thought about getting. I'm trying to think, was it Nightfall? No. Oh, it's like a really recent one, and there's a big deal about it because he has like soft goods cape and a place where the wire could go, as you see here, like the kind of stitched up piece here, and there's no wire, and it's like a big deal. And part of that reason is why I didn't get that one, and also because it's $30, because price hikes are so fun, aren't they, everybody? We're all having a fun time with that. I say sarcastically. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. We're not talking about that here. We're trying to have fun, at the very least. So, but, and also at the end of the day, of course, like I said, I really like the blue and gray costume. So, and I did grow up a little bit with Batman the Brave and the Bold cartoon, just a little bit of it. So this kind of reminds me of that as well. So, because I think the costume wasn't exactly this, but it was pretty close. I think the symbol was more of the yellow and black symbol. And of course the body type was a little different, but still. So let's take a look at them. So it's the Silver Age. So technically this part should be blue, but it was always kind of drawn with a black shadow. And it looks very good. Very blue. Got the nice painted on bat symbol here. Gauntlets there. You even have highlights here on the trunks. Get the little utility belt there. Nothing obviously on the back. I mean, it's a pretty basic it's an older costume, so it's not like gonna have like the crazy ultra detailed stuff that it might today, where they modernize it and he usually has maybe some armor or something like that, but still really cool to have. Of course, the cape is a big factor here. I've had so much fun posing this guy because of the cape, and you got the little like kind of bat wings of it. I will be posting those photos at some point, but I wanted to wait till after I reviewed him to post those photos. So sometime after this, I will post them. But let's take a look at the articulation. So the head goes up that far, goes down that far, looks side to side, has a head tilt. Got a shoulder joint that rotates in there, goes up that far, can go a full 360. Has a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrist swivel, and a hinge. Of course, the hinge is not the one moving. Ooh, that's tight. Did I ever move that hinge? I guess I didn't. Okay. That was scary. Did not want anything to break there. You got an upper diaphragm joint and a lower diaphragm joint that combined allows him to bend. Actually, not that far forward, but a whole lot back. Allows him to tilt, and both can rotate individually. The legs don't go out that far. They go back a little bit, and of course they kick out the furthest here. They have a slight rotation, actually. They got double jointed knees. Ankle that goes down, goes up, has rocker, and toe articulation. So, anyway. And then, of course, you've got 2 wires in the cape, one on each side, so you can, do whatever poses you want to do. So, of course, when you're trying to get him to stand just straight up and trying to get the cape like that, it can be kind of annoying. So, okay, see, and there we go. There's where it's not going to stand normally for me anymore. Okay, so let's see if I can get some comparisons without you falling too much. Though that's probably going to be a big ask. So, I figured I'd do one of the Bat family members. I gotta get him standing up in a normal pose, but though it's much easier. Which is my favorite of the Bat family and my favorite DC hero of all time. That actually has a close color scheme. Which is Rebirth Nightwing. The first Robin. So I figured it would kind of work with a classic looking Batman. And then I figured it'd be kind of interesting to put him next to, I forget, is it Thomas? No, it's one of the, it's one of the Foxes. I can't remember his first name. But he is the next Batman that was introduced in Future State, and I think is now called the Batman of New York. I figured it'd just be kind of cool to have like a very, very futuristic, modern looking Batman compared to a very classic looking Batman. I think it'd be kind of cool. But then speaking of, so this is the Batman that I'm about to put on is the first Batman figure I got. It was the first Batman figure they did. And is the one that I'm currently using for my Justice League. And I still think that's probably going to stay the case because this is the Detective Comics 1000, I think it was called. Probably fits better with my Justice League motif better than this one does. But this one obviously is probably an objectively better action figure. But I'm sure I could work it in with them. We'll have to see what I do. But yeah. I just really wanted a blue and gray Batman. And then, speaking of classic Batman characters, I don't have an Alfred yet. I know they've made some live-action Alfreds. I don't think they've made a comic Alfred yet. Hopefully they do that. Or if they have, I completely missed out. But here he is next to Jim Gordon. So I figured that would make sense. So yeah, I if it feels like a kind of rushed review, I do apologize again because I'm sick, so I'm probably a bit off. Well, I mean, today's one of my better days, which is why I decided to record today. But, The past few days I was having a sore throat, so today not having that, I felt like, okay, maybe I should just record today just in case that doesn't stick with me. And yesterday I tested positive for COVID, so I'm just dealing with a whole bunch of uh, nonsense right now. So hopefully, today was one of my better days. Hopefully tomorrow will be even better. But yeah, so I hope you did enjoy this review. Let me know what you think of this version of Batman. Like I said, I pretty much got him because I wanted a blue and gray Batman, because it's just one of the things that, it's one of the alternative looks for Batman that I really enjoy. Pardon me. Um, Not that I don't enjoy a lot of other looks, but if you've been on my channel for a while, I usually try to stick with one or two versions of a character, because there may be like multiple teams that they're a part of or whatever. But usually I just try to stick with one. But there are certain characters that become exceptions for one reason or another. There might be multiple versions of them from movies, or I have strong connections to different versions of them. For example, there are plenty of live action Batmen that have been made. Michael Keaton, George Clooney. I think they've done Val Kilmer's. Correct me if I'm wrong. They've done Robert Pattinson's. I want them to maybe redo Robert Pattinson's, because that was when they were doing the whole side eye thing, and I didn't like that. So hopefully they do him again, and even give him a wired cape. And because that would be really fun to have, because he's my favorite live action Batman. But and then I might even get the Superman movie, Superman. But the next figure I hope to get is actually the Superman movie, Lex Luthor, because I've been wanting that. As for the Silver Age stuff, I really want the Two-Face. I want the black and white Two-Face, which is technically not Silver Age, but hopefully I can get that. I also want the Joker. So yeah, lots of stuff to look forward to. I know that Marvel Legends just announced a whole bunch of stuff that I want, but I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this review, even if it was a little quick. It's a longer video, but it's because I've been rambling, so I'll shut up now. Quit the yapping. I hope you enjoyed. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.